That is a business class ticket.
Yes, so we could arrange a
Do
later.
you know who I am?
I'm an ANC witch.
I didn't realize.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? There's a gentleman here who doesn't know who he is.
I'm saying bye to all the lies and all the times you cried, saying that I wasn't right, yet I was right by your side. You manipulator, playing games, your friends commentators, and I don't know what you say about our private conversations, but it's got them hating. Thanks to all the rumors you be claiming. It's cool, I'm done with you, so they can throw you a celebration. You gon' hate it when you see me with somebody living better. I'm trying to tell you that me just doing me gon' have you jealous.
You know who I am? You don't know who I am? I'm an ANC, bitch! Oh, dear God. Woo! It just doesn't end. The hits just keep on coming. Look, I spent a lot of time this morning looking at comments on my latest video on that story. And that one took off pretty well. It's slowing down at this hour, but it's at 25,000 views. It's the best performing video I've had, I think, in December. So not like the old days, 150,000 more per view, and not like some big content creators that get millions of views. But hey, we'll take that in the 2024, 2025 YouTube ecosphere. Anyway, yeah, so I did a video. I'll be doing another video on that. Once I'm finished with this broadcast, I'm preparing another video about Mitchell's Plains response to the ANC. I'm an ANC, bitch. Yeah, I'll be doing that one there. So, yeah. Too funny, man. I'm telling you. Anyway, so thank you, Joku T, for helping me bring up that classic advert there and put in the. I got to put that up. That's a meme, folks. As soon as I'm done with the broadcast, I'm putting it up. I just finished making that. Anyway, welcome to everybody around the world. Hello, I'm Chris. Once again, pleasure to see you. I'm in Central Pennsylvania. Hang on. Hello, I'm Chris. Once again, pleasure. All right, I wasn't happy with the sound quality. Let's see if that's better. All right, sound quality. Let's see if that's better. That's a little bit better. Okay, there we go. So let me say hello to everyone around the world. First off, before I do that, let me address a couple things from the videos, okay? Number one, why is an American commenting on South Africa? Why is another person asking such a silly question? I'm sure you felt the need to express yourself about America. Why can I not express myself about South Africa? I discovered a channel earlier this morning, courtesy of an advert, someone promoting her channel. She's making tons of money, $73,000 a year off her YouTube channel. Congratulations. I don't know how she survives on that in Iceland, but she's got sponsors, so she got a free car. That cuts down a lot of her expenses, universal health coverage. She takes care of that. All things Iceland, a black woman from New York City who left America to live in Iceland, an odd place for her. She married an Icelandic guy, apparently, and then divorced him, so she got to stay there. I was going to say, I wonder how she got there. There's £5 super chat. Thank you for that. Where's my bell? Mitchell's Plains response. I'll pay to see that. Yeah, Masakina. Yeah, exactly. Well, we're working on that. That video is coming up here after this broadcast, so stay tuned for that, and I'll tell you about Mitchell's Plains responses. But people are not happy in the Cape Flats. The colored folks are not happy about this abusive, racially tinged commentary from the ANC bitch. Man, oh man, that woman is really going to have a lot of stuff to deal with here. So let's hope that she's as arrogant as she claims to be, as she behaves, so that she's not someone that we have to worry about her mental condition or her health, would want her to feel that she's needs to do something drastic. What's going on with that beard? Get back in there. All right. So hello to everybody on the chat. George Steinberg in from Hackport. Good to see you there, George. Hardesteenkamp, welcome to you. Meerkat says hello, listening, loving music, and enjoying a Merlot in the background. And then Chris Dennis here, Monray Siebert, excuse me. Anna Brunel and her Formula One fantastic support is here again. Teresa, welcome to you. Ants, how's it going, Ants? Thank you for calling in on my Christmas Day program. You and Courtney made it so it wasn't an entirely lonely event on my part. Dylan Comberg is here. Allison Johnson, Garrett Gillage. Smee again is back again. Good to see you. Hendo is here. Eric is not here. Where Eric is at. Garrett Gillage is here. Welcome to you. Chris Ehlers, Dylan Comberg, Teresa, Hendo. Wow, good to see you guys. All right. And Chris says, good day. I wish you and your families a prosperous New Year. Same here. Thank you for that. Richard Kuhn is here. Welcome, Richard. And then Nick Muller, goedemiddag. Welcome to you. And I don't know what Chris is saying there. Something about the ANC bitch. Tom Smith, welcome. Hope everyone is well. Another year in the review mirror. Yeah, sadly, hate to see them all go in the review mirror. They're asking me to put an advert in, so I just gave it a shot. If you got an advert, just skip past it. Anyway, Teresa says, love it, Chris. I think that was a commercial I put together. Where? Got ahead of me. Come back here. Where be all the beard? Yeah, Dylan, it's shrinking. It is shrinking. See the neck there? Look, I don't have a, look at it. No crepe neck. You see no crepe neck, no wrinkly skin there. So, yeah. All right, Janet Liddy's in from Carolina. Welcome to Chris O'L's classic video, indeed. Indeed. Garrett Gilch in from Somerset West and Hendo from UK. Need to copyright that phrase, I'm an ANC bitch. Yeah, exactly. I'm an ANC bitch. Yeah, well, let's go, Brandon. Love that video of Mitchell's Plains. She was spot on. Yep. Okay. You need old-timers' beards. Okay, enjoy your New Year, Colonel Wyatt. Okay, thank you. This came from West Colby's Lever. And Hendo's £5 super chat. Thank you for that, Hendo. Diane Hope's back. Hello, Diane. Welcome to you. Neville, one day we'll have to pay our royalties for using ANC bitch. I really got to push that hard. I'm an ANC bitch. Angus Roy McBean, welcome to you. You can take our lives, but you can never take our freedom. Indeed. Scientists welcome you. Did not get the ad. Oh, okay, cool. Thank you for that. What a question. Million South Africans constant commenting on U.S. affairs, and most are ignoramuses. Thank you, Meerkat. Thank you very much. Actually, I'm better informed than virtually anybody who comments on South Africa. And that's not an arrogant boast. That's a statement of fact. And so why somebody would question, oh, what's going on? Did I lose? I lost. Come on. Got wires all tied up all over the place here. Sorry, I was just trying to move something while I was doing multiple things here, and I ripped the rubber grommet off of the earpiece. And that's annoying because those things disappear so easily, and then it's useless because you can't stick that hard plastic in your ear. All right, there we go. Got it. So I'll need this when I do my rugby broadcast. None this weekend, though. Everybody's taking a break off from rugby. Right. Ignoramus is indeed, Meerkat. Ken Arnston's back. Ken, where you been, brother? Been missing you. Ken, you don't have to come up with a nickname, a moniker for Ken. I know. We've got Paulie, who claims to be the brains behind the operation of this program. It's debatable. And Charles Van Onselen is the voice of reason. Well, Ken Arnston is the gentleman. There you go, folks. There's Ken's nickname. Ken is the gentleman. So there you go. Because he is a gentleman, and he was a gentleman when I met him. One of my most enjoyable interactions in South Africa. And in fact, other than hanging out with the Pet Zoo film crew, it was my second interaction. Was it? Yeah, my second interaction in South Africa when I came back. So, yeah, there you go. He's trying to knock its effing goat off the perch. Exactly. Don't piss off a color. They'll swear you stark naked. No doubt. Chris Breeze here. Welcome to Chris Breeze. Happy Rugby 2025. Oh, shoot the heartbreak. Okay. ANC is looking for the royalty. No doubt about that. What have I missed here? She shot herself in the foot by saying she's sober because that's how she believes she's sober. She belongs to... Exactly, Smee again. I'm stone, I'm sober as a judge. Okay, sweetheart, we'll take your word for it. We will take your word for it. Anyway, I did a reaction video. It's longer than the video that I did previous to that, and I posted it early this morning. That took a lot of editing. First off, I did it with this microphone, and oh dear God, it sounded tinny. I don't know what was going on. I got to check the software, and I didn't have a pop filter on here, so every time I said it just pop. It was very distracting, annoying. I recorded, it was 18-minute video. I had to delete it, redo it again. And then I started again. I tested this microphone out and it sounded fine. So I did it. So I redid the video. Then I had edited, cut all the blips and pops out of it. It was one run. I didn't add anything, but I just had to take gaps out where I paused when I was switching between myself and the screen with the comments. And I hope people enjoy it. I took comments that were mean to me. I took comments that were nice to me. And I talked about the video. So I thought that was funny to talk about that. John Jarvis said, I think you said you retired at 55, but I see that others go to 64. Why didn't you stay or didn't apply for it? John, I never retired. What are you talking about? Okay, let's be clear because people unfamiliar with military will misinterpret John's comment. So John said, I think you said you retired at 55, but I see that others go to 64, 65. The retirement age in America is 62 for partial Social Security collection, 65 for those born before 1950, I think it is. So they get it at 65. My age and older, it's either 67 or 69. That's retirement age in America for civilian retirement. The military you can retire at 20 years. So if you come in at 17 with your parents' permission, which is possible, you could potentially get a retirement check from the military starting at the age of 37. True story. So I stayed far longer than 20 years. I stayed 36 and a half years in the military and left active service at the age of 55. Not because I didn't have a choice, John. You cannot stay longer than 30 years in a particular category. You can be 30 years enlisted. You can be 30 years as an officer. There's two caveats to that. Number one, you can only make it that far if you progress. If you don't make it to Sergeant Major or Command Sergeant Major, E9, you will not stay 30 years as an enlisted member. I think Master Sergeant might be able to stay. I could be wrong. But officers, if you don't make it to full colonel by 24 years of service, you must leave the service. And if you make full colonel, you can go to 30. The only people who can stay after 30 are individual direct appointments by the President of the United States, and it must be confirmed by the Senate. So any general or sergeant major that is beyond 30 years in that category, as enlisted or as an officer or commissioned officer, they must have the president nominate them. Individually must go to the Senate. They must ratify that, confirm that, and then they can stay longer. And it's a temporary thing. So if you have the chief of staff of the Army with 34 years of service, the president requests 2-year extension. Congress approves it. They stay to another 2 years. That's how that works. That's a very small number of people. So I didn't retire because I wanted to retire. I retired because there was no position in my career field for a general officer. Therefore, I could not become a general officer. Although technically you can do it. I know somebody in my career field actually became a general officer, but that was because of politics. It had nothing to do with his career field. So that guy was liked by a couple of generals who had a lot of power, and they said, hey, and put him in there, and they got behind him, and they pushed him up, and he got promoted general, even though there's no position for a general. So generals are general officers. They can cover anything, but they don't take people who are foreign area officers unless they're Russia or China and make them generals, generally speaking. No pun intended. So that's why I left the service at 55, because at 55 I'd had 30 years as a commissioned officer. I came in 89, had to get out in 2019. 30 years. The previous service, my 6.5 years prior to that, were enlisted. That doesn't count. So if I had come in and done 6 years enlisted, become a warrant officer while on active duty, say become a pilot or an intel technician, done 10 years of that, okay, then that would have given me 16 years. And then I could have become a commissioned officer. Well, we can't really go for it. Say I had go 14, because we'll say I came in at 18, 32. You can still become a commissioned officer up to the age of 34. So say 15 years, 33. So 15 years with enlisted and warrant officer time. Then I become a commissioned officer, and I can stay for 20 years from the age of 34 until 44, 54, 64. Then I can stay till 64. But everyone's required to retire by the age of 62 in the U.S. military unless there's an exception. So there you go. Does that answer the question for you, John? Oh, Ken's always in the background. Well, you're a gentleman. You're not engaging in the fracas. There you go, Ken Ernst, the gentleman. Good to see you there, Ken. All right. When I don't see people in chat, I miss them. So I just saying hello. No obligation to chat. I appreciate people being here. All right, John Jarvis, did I answer your question? Anyway, so don't you know I'm an ANC, bitch? Hey, Beth is here. Where's Beth? Beth Fraser. Welcome, Beth. She's had that same avatar for a long time. There's my email address, but I haven't checked my email in a while. I don't think she was referring to herself as a bitch. She was, yes, I know she was, Ken. I know she was, but it's taken a life of its own. What she was saying is, hey, you don't know who I am. Hey, I'm an ANC, bitch. That's what she was saying. I know that. That's what she was trying to point she's trying to make. But so it's turned into something else. I'm ANC, bitch. I'm the ANC, bitch. Yep. Jan Podketer says, have a blessed New Year. Same to you, Shawnee Grows, decorating for the New Year. Okay, really? What do you decorate for New Year's? Didn't realize. Hang on a second here. I think I've got some important messages that came through I got to address. Not there, but let me see over here. What's going on? Oh, payroll's in. Okay. Oh, yeah. Yep. Well. Okay, cool. All right, so yeah, President Carter died. We have 30 days that the government's leaving the flag hanging low. So they lowered the flag of the Veterans Organization. So, did you keep your 1911 or did you get Beretta? Oh, my weapon? No, I didn't. You don't get to keep your weapon in the U.S. military. That's a myth. That's a fairy tale. You don't get to do that. And I had a Colt 45, I had a 45, 45 initially, and then we switched over. But the 45 I took the combat. The upper receiver was so loose I could do this, and it would shake back and forth. It would rattle back and forth. That's when I took the combat, my first combat in the Gulf War. But then we got Berettas 9mm after that. I prefer the Beretta. It's a much easier weapon to handle. For a staff officer, you don't need to be burdened by that the previous weapon we had. Anyway, yes, it did. Like me, it was a contraction. Yeah, exactly. You're welcome, John. My pleasure. Thanks for clarifying. Yeah, but again, I want to clarify that for the civilians because I'm not retired. I work 7 days a week. If people think that preparing for this is not work, then they don't know what work is. Also, I author articles. I was published this week in a local paper about the drones. Pretty cool article, I think, but I don't know if anybody's really responded to it. So that was actually in last week's paper. And I still do things with other outlets. I was on as a guest on John B. Wells last week, short notice, to talk about the drones. And so I do work all the time because I enjoy it. So I wouldn't do it if I didn't enjoy it. I'd just go hang out on the beach or in the mountains and go hiking. Even with my hip, I'd still hike. Shawnee says, silver, white, and black balloons. Ah, gotcha. Okay. Same avatar, and you've had the same beard for the most part. Well, Beth, yeah, but you haven't shrunk your avatar. I've shrank my beard. And I'm shrinking it more. Boy, Paulie's going to throw a big party when the beard's gone. Some other people are going to be angry. Anyway, okay, I answered Angus's question. All right, folks, let's get to some of the news because I know you've tuned in for that. How South African Airways stole Christmas. Now, first off, I don't want to pile on South African Airways. It shouldn't exist. It is a state-owned fossil, a dinosaur, a troglodyte from a different era that is a vanity project for the ANC, which is silly because they didn't build it. They just destroyed it. So why they want to take credit for it? I think probably because they can just use it to their own delight. So the problem with South African Airways, I'm not going to pile on, hey, the Grinch who stole Christmas. This happens. This happens to airlines. They make mistakes. Flights get delayed. Things happen. People don't get where they're supposed to go. So this story, could you go on Joe Rogan? Oh, well, Meerkat, if Joe Rogan would talk to me, I'd go on Joe Rogan in a heartbeat. You know, if I went on Joe Rogan, with my background, my knowledge, the visibility I would get from Joe Rogan, we would have 100,000 subscribers. I guarantee it. You get me on Joe Rogan, I'll have 100,000 subscribers almost overnight, and we'll grow from there. And the channel will just take off. And I'll be able to make money from this, actually make a living. You go ahead. Somebody go tell Joe Rogan to get me on. Get me on. Oh, I love going Joe Rogan. I'm not a big fan of Joe Rogan, and I'll tell him that. I said, I'll tell him if I'm on air, I say, I just remember you as the guy that was the handyman on news radio. I didn't think you're all that funny. I didn't follow your MMA stuff. Anyway, get me on there, man. I'll be happy to go on Joe Rogan in a heartbeat. Look, Joe Rogan helped Donald Trump win the election. He really did. Anyway. A lot of young people voted for Trump as a consequence of the interview on Joe Rogan, and Kamala Harris denying or refusing to go on there. So, Paulie, better drop a big super. Oh yeah, we're looking for a big super chat. We're looking for a Table Mountain conflagration size super chat from Paulie when that happens. What else? What did Garrett say? Remember to take a dump before midnight, so you don't have to carry 24 crap. Garrett, that's bad dad humor. Okay. Yep. All right. So South African Airways is an albatross, and let's talk about that albatross. Let me close a few things here, folks, that are in my way. Out of the way. Okay, here we go. Now we can get to it. All right. Oh, yeah, I'd get past 1 million subscribers if I could just get on Joe Rogan. That would make me, because look, I can hold my own. You guys are here. Obviously, you enjoy the content or you find it provocative, whatever the case is, and informative. And I know that I can hold my own. The question is, you just need exposure. And I guarantee that if I went on Joe Rogan, boom. Boom, 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 boom. Just like that. Redacted. Yeah, get me on Redacted. Yeah, get me on Redacted, Garrett. Absolutely. A conversation on Redacted. I wouldn't mind. I'd happily be a guest on those programs, recurring efforts. So, yeah, please do. Yep. ANC stole all the cash to pay the ANC bitch at SABC. Remember flying Comair from Kruger to Joburg as a child. I've flown Comair. They used to have the British Airways license for South Africa. Yay is net to mui. Really? Not too pretty? What? I'm not too pretty? Oh, I think I misunderstood that. I'm gorgeous. All right, let's get back to the news. How SSA stole Christmas. 20-hour delays, financial loss for disgruntled passengers. This happens, folks. South African Airways suffered technical issues and was delayed numerous times over 2 days. For 7 excruciatingly long hours, passengers on board a SAA flight were kept on the plane before they were eventually told to disembark because the flight had been canceled due to technical issues. Now, I will say that that's outrageous. That's not acceptable. I've been stuck on a plane for hours at a time, but not 7 hours. That's ridiculous. For 7 excruciatingly long hours, passengers on board an SAA flight were kept on the plane before they were eventually told to disembark. And Amber Leach has just subscribed. Thank you, Amber. Bye-bye, donkey. Get a ball. Yep, thank you so much. Yes, Nikki Courtney Clark, that's a mouthful of a name. Her husband and her 2 children could not make it home for Christmas. Instead, they spent the day cooped up in an airport hotel in Sao Paulo, Brazil, because they couldn't get home, courtesy of South African Airways. But this stuff happens, folks. Ronaldo Host is in the house, ladies and gentlemen. And Awe Masakina. All right. You are too pretty. Oh, too pretty, okay. My beard don't grow like yours. Okay, cool. So Angus says Mozambique is another freedom fighter failed state. Yeah, well, that's not a surprise. The shock is it took 30 plus years for it to melt down again. That's a surprise. Oh, I'm too pretty. Okay. Well, net means not, doesn't it? That's what confused me. Net so. Anyway. All right, thank you. See, I misread that. My Afrikaans is far from perfect. Just ask Ronaldo Goes. Ronaldo Goes will tell you how I get Afrikaans wrong. Afrikaans, Ronaldo Goes. Genoeg is genoeg. Don't you guys know genoeg is genoeg? All right. I think it's time for this again, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for this again, okay? Because we got people that weren't here at the outset. So I'm going to play this again for those of you who weren't here at the outset, okay? So you guys ready for this? All right, here we go. Here we go. Because this is just too good. Too good.
9:30 Cape Town now.
I'm sorry, sir. That flight is
That is
closed.
a business class ticket.
Yes, sir, we could arrange a
Do
later
you know who I am?
I'm an ANC witch.
I didn't realize.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? There's a gentleman here who doesn't know who he is.
Awe Mazakina. The Joku ad from years ago. Years ago. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Oh, that one's going up on my account. I enjoy. Yeah, net. Well, I thought it meant. Yeah, okay. I guess net's like nur in German. Eget net is das ist ähnlich wie nur, as in only or just. Oh my goodness. I'm an ANC, bitch. Who do you think you're talking to? Do you know who I am? Do you know who I am? Do you know who my father is? Lady, I don't care who your father is. Icarus Air, just don't fly too high. Oh, yeah, Christo, as soon as the broadcast is over, I'll get that loaded. I'm an NC, bitch. Oh, my goodness. All right, now back to the news. Alcohol sales have been banned in the central business district of Johannesburg. Or Johannesburg, sorry. All alcohol outlets and entertainment venues must close by 6 p.m. on New Year's Eve. What kind of crap is that? Oh, pissing all over the holiday cheer, man. Unbelievable. Unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen. Joe Berg under the ANC and Panyazi Lusufi, they're Hauteng, what's in your glass? Yeah. I like what's in your wallet. Who's your daddy now? You guys are killing me. You're killing me. All right, back to the story here. So, alcohol sales are banned. What the? The sale of alcohol has been restricted from 6 p.m. in the Joburg Central Precinct on New Year's Eve. Public Safety MMC Mkini Shakwaku has welcomed the temporary restriction imposed by the police. Well, I haven't welcomed it. You are going to cost businesses tens of millions of dollars tonight. But your argument's going to be, well, people will misbehave. People will still misbehave. You think that not having alcohol sales, people just buy the booze and from a package store, they'll go home and throw block parties. Good Lord. Unbelievable. No supers allowed. What do you mean no supers allowed? Limiting the sale of alcohol has shown positive results in various instances, including during the COVID-19 pandemic, said the moronic member of the local government. Johannesburg Metropolitan Police, South African Police Service, and other stakeholders like the emergency medical services and health environment officials are expecting to conduct joint operations at liquor outlets affected by the restricted trading hours. Wow, I'm sick of this garbage. Festive season, residents are urged to comply with proactive measures to enforce law and order. Militant governance by the MMC ensures that the city enters the new year with safety and discipline. No leniency, law and order. This isn't law and order. This is oppression. Unbelievable. Is this moron from the EFF Let's see who he is. He looks like an EFFer. Let's see if he's got any EFF stuff here. Where's he at there? Just a comment from him. 4 minutes. We're not going to listen to that. That's 2 minutes. City Johannesburg, MSC Public Safety, Dr. Mkini Schwak. How come some of these doctors are so stupid? So stupid. Okay, there you go. Net Noah. Yeah, okay. They will outside. Yeah, exactly. Go outside the Central Business District. Stupid. This guy looks like an EFF clown. Doctor. What's he a doctor of? Stupidity? Wow. Oh, they're closing shops for fireworks. Man, okay. Well, I'm going to follow this guy because he's MMC, on the MMC there for public safety, and he doesn't know his butt from a hole in the ground. Eskom's Coburg unit. That's Coburg. Sorry, is Ronaldo still here? He isn't correcting my Afrikaans, so they must have fallen asleep. Yeah, Ronaldo must have gone to sleep there. Du Robra says he'll go outside. Yep. Patrick, welcome to you. Garrett says, I got it right. Somebody shot the head for beer in his garden. What? Gerardo says a mystery parties. Yeah, it's been a long time. Anyway, Coburg, the nuclear facility in West Cape, he's always lurking. Ronaldo Khuz is always lurking. All right, so hello to you, Mr. Grobler. So Eskom's Coburg Unit 2 successfully synchronized with the National Grid, boosting the energy supply. Well, there you go, folks. Unit 2 of Coburg is back online. It's been offline repeatedly over the years. The milestone comes after extensive long-term operation that was designed to extend the operational lifespan by another 20 years. They replaced 3 steam generators, comprehensive inspections, refilling activities to ensure continued safe and efficient performance of the reactors. With a 930 megawatt contribution, Unit 2 plays a significant role in goal of Eskom to boost its capacity by 2,500 megawatts by March in just 3 months. So they're trying to add another 2.5 gigawatts of power by March, and they're going to get about 40% of that, 35% of that from this one unit. Yeah, almost 34, 33%, 32%. Yep. All right. So cool beans. Well, congratulations. That ought to ease the power woes in South Africa just a little bit. African Native says really just like banning alcohol worked during. Exactly. EFF got to stand because Juju shouted, I want everything. That's good. An unemployed politician's always lurking. That's good to know. All right. The Democratic Alliance has added an assault charge to the criminal injury case against SABC employee Nambutu Mkizi. Knobs. Listen, folks, before I get into the story, I'm going to say this, and I said it in my reaction video that's posted online from earlier this morning to the comments. I don't believe that these political parties should be filing criminal cases and charges and allegations against this woman. They are not a party to what happened. In my view, they have no standing legally. So I don't know why. I mean, South Africa's legal system is out of control. Anybody can file a complaint against anybody for anything without any merit, without having been affected by it. It's ludicrous. If they want to comment about it, that's fine. If they want to condemn it, that's fine. If they want to talk about how their party's taking actions in Parliament to address these issues in public, okay. But to file a lawsuit or to file a criminal complaint against them, that's just ridiculous. This should be left to the passengers on the plane, the flight attendants who are affected, and the passengers, SAPS and SAFAIR. Yep. Yeah. Well, it's not just the DA, Meerkat. The PA's done the same thing. Yeah, the DA's a waste of oxygen, says Dylan. All right, the DA of the Western Cape has added assault charges against Nobuntu Mkizi to the existing criminal injury charges after a viral video recently surfaced of her at a heated altercation with a flight attendant. Provincial leader Tertius Simmers said that the party reported the matter to the Bishop Lavis police station on Monday, accompanied by the flight attendant who was allegedly attacked. Once an individual, someone whose father fought for the equality of all South Africans, uses racial slurs and makes comments about a colored lady from the Western Cape or from any other area across the country, one needs to stand up and speak out, said Simmers in an interview with Newsroom Africa. Criminal injury is the most logical step to take because it addresses the unlawful violation of someone's dignity or privacy. In this case, not only was the dignity of the air hostess enough to open the case, but also that of others. We need to stop this effectively and efficiently by holding these people accountable. The police have now added assault to the criminal injury case the DA opened. The case is worse than people may be aware of. Yep. Simmers said, as a party, we believe in the rule of law. Okay. Which has processes and acts that enshrine how an employer must act. There is a fair process that must be followed, that they must not just judge a person based on media alone. In terms of a party, which she is named in the video clip, each party has a constitutional disciplinary process outlined within it. The ANC will then follow its internal process. The employer needs to follow the Labor Relations Act. Well, I don't think it's the place of the Democratic Alliance or for the Patriotic Alliance, or the only party here that really is affected that has standing in this is the ANC, because they've been denigrated and they can file charge against her for her nonsense, for dragging them into it. But even that's thin. So the Labor Relations Act, I'm not an expert on labor law in South Africa, and I wouldn't profess to be, but I find it inappropriate that, and now the employer has the right to terminate her if it's an at-will employment. Here in Pennsylvania, if someone behaved that way, they can be fired. It's an at-will employment state. But if you have labor laws to protect, then she may be protected, and maybe SABC can't fire her. But I will tell you this, if she can't fly on SAF Air, she's going to have a hard time getting from one place to another in South Africa, because Lyft doesn't go anywhere that she needs to go, or not often enough. And, Airlink doesn't have quite the same network either. So it's got a network that's focused heavily externally from South Africa. So anyway, she's got problems. Nick wants to know why you're lurking. Are you a spy? Are the household appliances part of the New Year celebrations? One need to keep half an eye out for kettles. I have no idea what Keith's talking about. All right, so Ons Fati Kaki. Woo! Color folks in Mitchell's Plains are not happy. Fly SAF Air's passengers mid-air rants infuriates Mitchell Plains residents. Ooh, we're going to talk about that. My goodness. Who the f does she think she is to come and take our people for a joke? She had no right to come for the color community in such a brutal way. She must come and show her face here. We will show her a thing or two about colors. She's rude and has no respect for our community. Wow. That comes from a color resident of Mitchell's Plain. And I agree. And I'll be talking about that after this broadcast. When she threw the Coke can, I would have detected her. Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm going to tell you what, man. You throw a Coke can at me, boom! Except I'm left-handed, so I'll come with the left. Boop, boop. Roundhouse. Boom, baby. Yeah, she's a gas bag. If she behaved like that on Airlink, she would have been the same cock. Yeah. What I'm saying, though, Ken, is that she's not banned by Airlink. I mean, I think South African civil aviation authorities ought to consider banning this woman, not just the airline. The airline took immediate action. Kirby Gordon said that, hey, she's on our no-fly list. Well, she should be on everybody's no-fly list because she's clearly a danger to the other passengers. Yep. Now, the African transformation movement has been silent on the ANC bitch story. They've said nothing. Nothing at all. I've not heard a peep from the ATM about that incident, or the EFF, or MK. The ANC did respond because they were mentioned. But those parties, these black supremacist parties like MK and EFF and ATM, are silent. But ATM speaks up about an alleged incident about someone supposedly being called a baboon. Yep. So let's talk about this story here. Okay. The African Transformation Movement has called for criminalization of racism after a viral video of a white couple allegedly calling two black women baboons at a food lovers market in Four Ways. I've been to Four Ways. The video captured a confrontation between the two black women and a white couple. The women accused the couple of making racist remarks, with one of the women stating that 6 witnesses outside the shop heard the couple's derogatory comments. The white woman admitted to being a racist, saying, "Yes, I'm a racist." Well, okay. Well, that doesn't mean she admitted to it. It could very well be sarcasm. Let's go to the video. Don't you love social media, folks? Let's go to the video, okay? Here we go. Here's the video. There's 2 clips. Neither of one of them do the white people say that. But to be fair, this likely was recorded after the alleged incident took place. So this black woman who's playing the stereotypical role of an angry black woman, and she may be justified in being angry if she was called that, she doesn't de-escalate. She escalates this by continuing to run her mouth at the guy once securities intervene. This behavior by this, I don't know who's at fault here, and I'm not going to get involved. But I will say that racism only matters to the plurality of South African political parties when black people feel aggrieved. When white people are the victims, or Indians or coloreds are the victims of racism, they don't give a flying flip. The ATM, the EFF, MK party, completely silent on this. The PA, for its credit, spoke out, but the PA, of course, is largely comprised of coloreds, and so they spoke out after an attack on coloreds. The DA, largely comprised of coloreds, spoke out. But these other parties have disdain for minority South Africans and don't care. But the ATM is subtly concerned about racism. So let's watch the video.
Don't touch me. You don't have a fucking call us baboons. You don't fucking call us baboons ever. Bloody shame on you. Bloody shame on you. Shame on you. Shame on you. As old as you are. You should have thought about it first. Think before you act. Think before you fucking act. Who's a baboon? Who's a baboon? Who's the yes you are? Fuck you. Fuck you. Don't you ever say it. Who's the fucking baboon? Don't you ever say it. Don't you ever say it.
Well, I don't know who the baboon is, but I do know who the aggressor is here. I do know who the person who's escalating the situation is. The gentleman sought to de-escalate and walk away. She continually harassed him, harangued him, and if someone calls your name, that's not the way you deal with it. So I don't know who the baboon is, but I know who the asshole is, and that's the woman. She's a jerk, which kind of undermines her position in some degree. That doesn't mean it didn't happen, but let's go to the second video, okay?
He called me a baboon.
He called me a baboon! Baboon. He called me a baboon. By the way, the wife doesn't look too white. She looks kind of colored, but anyway.
He called me a baboon. Why did you call me a baboon? And you let him call me a baboon and you say that I'm the one. He called me a baboon. I am a baboon. There were 6 people outside that heard him call me a baboon.
So if he called her a baboon, why is she yelling at the chubby white lady? why is she yelling at his wife? Why don't you talk to him? Have a great day. Have a great day. Look, the lady may be aggrieved, but that's not the way you handle it. And Times Live saying that the white woman admitted being a racist. What a bunch of asswipes. She didn't admit to being a racist. You saw it. Yes, I'm a racist. Yeah, she said it sarcastically. Give me a break. No, Pablo Charlie. No, you are missing the point entirely, Pablo Charlie. Let me explain to Pablo Charlie what's going on here. This is objectivity. I have covered the story about the ANC bitch, and I've also covered a story in which a black South African feels aggrieved of having been abused by racist language. That's called objectivity. I've covered both sides of a story. If I ignored this story, that would be disingenuous, unless I missed the story. But the story's out there. I saw it. So I've covered this story as well. And I'll do a video. Yes. So, and I'll do it now that's up. I'm going to do a video about that. So that's going to come up. Now my day is completely full making these videos. Yeah. So you want positivity, Pablo? I said Happy New Year. Kloof municipality is desperately trying to keep illegal squatters off of land, which is slated for public housing. A group is thwarted from occupying a piece of land in the Overberg region that is earmarked for housing development. Kloof municipality said constant attempts to delay key pieces of land hampered its ability to deliver housing. You can see these people marking out space as if they own the land, just stealing land. In 2020, 4,000 people moved into a critical piece of land by occupying Knoflookskral in Grabau. Yep. So, 400 structures were erected on the land. Farms 336 and 445, known as Knoflookskral. Yep. Land is heavily protected by Roman security guards, police who are deployed at every entrance to try to prevent any more arrivals. However, 5 years later, the land remains invaded despite several interventions. Illegal land invasions compromised this goal of putting immense pressure on municipal bulk infrastructure and delaying housing delivery for the broader community. The Kloof municipality remains steadfast in its commitment to enforcing the law. Perpetrators of illegal land invasions will face the full extent of the law and criminal justice system. Indeed, 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 indeed. Welcome to South Africa. If you're white, you won't enjoy your stay. Well, I enjoyed my stay, Dylan. Arthur Chokes says, the great calamity is nearly upon us. Thanks for making it happen. Well, Arthur Chokes, you give me far too much credit with my mere, what is it, 91. We're probably not even 91 viewers now. What do we got? 91 viewers and just 51 likes and a channel with just 20,000 subscribers. Arthur Chokes, you give me far too much credit. You give me far too much credit. Anyway. Yeah, videos galore. It is video making season, so I'll be busy making videos when we're done here. The first ever education minister in post-apartheid South Africa Sibusiso Bengu has died as the nonagenarian has passed away. The first Minister of Education in Democratic South Africa, Sibusiso Bengu, has died. His nephew said in a statement he passed away peacefully in his sleep. He was 90 years old, living in Mtumzini in KZN North Coast at the time of his death. He began his career as a teacher in 1952. Wow, 73 years ago. And then founded the Kwa Diangingswa High School in KZN North Coast in 1969, where he was principal until 76. He was appointed director of student affairs at the University of Zululand in 1977, became the first Minister of Education in 1994 during Nelson Mandela's presidency. In 1999, he was appointed South Africa's ambassador to Germany. Wow, I'm very confused. I'm very confused. I thought that there was only Bantu education during apartheid and that no black people got educations. They couldn't become doctors and lawyers. So I still don't know how Zweli Mkhize magically became a doctor, went to medical school, went to university, went to medical school, became a practicing doctor in apartheid South Africa, because that didn't happen apparently. No black people got education. And then this guy, how did he get this education in South Africa? I mean, apartheid didn't give anybody an education. Now, for those who can't determine what sarcasm is, that was sarcasm. And why is it sarcasm? Because, yes, indeed, the vast majority of black South Africans were denied proper education during the National Party's apartheid era. That's a statement of fact. However, the broad brush that, blacks were, like Herman Mashaba, we were denied and denigrated, we had no opportunities, is a lie. It's a total lie. It's pure fiction. Pure fiction. And this gentleman is proof of it. He didn't go abroad with Mkhonto Sizwe. He wasn't in the ANC in exile. He grew up, he lived in South Africa. He was part of a system that had apartheid for separate development, which had racist laws. And he rose up to found a school, become a principal, and then become the head of student affairs at a university in 1977, nearly 20 years before apartheid ended. So, Pretoria teacher has been released, accused of sexually grooming children, granted bail with no conditions. Wow. A former Pretoria teacher and principal accused of sexually grooming young boys and sending explicit videos and photos of himself to them has been granted bail with no conditions. Great. You're letting pedos out on the street. Wow. With no restrictions, no ankle bracelet, no reporting to a probation officer. Wow. In an affidavit deposed by investigating officer Captain Veronica Banks, the man is accused of sexually grooming 3 boys, 12, 13, and 15. Wow. Wow. The chats and emojis between the victims and the accused were of a sexual nature. So, no bail conditions, just out on the street free. Well, 35,000 people are expected to turn up at the Victoria and Alfred waterfront for New Year's. I think that's kind of a small crowd. Cape Town safety. Okay, hang on a second. What the hell? Let's go back here. Pretoria teacher. All right, so Arthur Chokes is being a smartass. Is Pretoria teacher translucent? Making some sort of implication that I'm not mentioning who the person is because probably, I don't know why, whether white or whatever. I don't know. There's no mention of the name in here because they didn't report it. The court didn't allow the name to be released. If the name was available, I would provide it. So that's a dumbass comment, Arthur. You're pushing towards a ban for a few minutes here, so stop the nonsense. And if you meant it as a joke, it's not a funny joke. All right. So 35,000 people expected at the Victoria and Alfred waterfront. Yes, exactly, Meerkat. The peds can go prowling the streets for young boys. Yep. Cape Town safety and security workers gearing up for a busy New Year's Eve with more than 35,000 people expected to watch the annual fireworks on display. Folks, if you go to the Victoria and Alfred waterfront tonight, please be careful. Be very careful where you park. You're smart to park in the park garage. That's where I usually park. It's affordable, especially with the rand being so poor. I mean, back in the day when it was 5 or 6 rand to the dollar, it was very expensive, but now it's dirt cheap for me. But be careful where you park. Be careful what you imbibe. Don't get intoxicated. And also keep your personal belongings and your members of your family close. If you go there with children, keep your children close. There are pickpockets, there are thieves, there are pedos, there are all kinds of people that show up at events like this, and they have ill intent. So just be smart. Keep your spidey sense about you. If your ears start tingling, they're tingling for a reason. Not because you got big ears, but because your concern is valid. So just be smart there, folks. All right. So here are some places, the hottest New Year's Eve locations to go. By the way, there'll be another broadcast tonight. Sort of the New Year's Eve night owls will be at 11 p.m. South African time. So that is going to be at 5 p.m. my time. And then we'll have New Year's here in the U.S. So 11 p.m. my time, I'll go live again and we'll celebrate New Year's together. All right. So you can join me for both of those if you like, or neither if you don't want to. All right. Yeah, pickpockets delight. Exactly. Here are some places to hang out. All right. So, the Beach Ravonia's all-white New Year's Eve party. Punted as Joburg's biggest New Year's Eve celebration, the Beach Ravonia's all-white New Year's party. Oh, that sounds racist, all-white. With a chic all-white dress code and featuring the likes of DJ Kent on the decks, it's sure to be a party you won't soon forget. Soweto in Colors Countdown. Enjoy the sounds of Mo Flava, DJ Sia, Musical Freak, MFR Souls, and Crazy Black Dudes. Marvel at the impressive fireworks display and eat and drink and be merry for a variety of food stalls. No under 18s allowed. The Night Garden New Year's Eve edition on the Summit Rooftop in Pretoria promises revelers an enchanted rooftop escape. There you go. East London. Wow, East London's Esplanade is the location of the city's busiest gathering for New Year's, according to Buffalo City Metro. Yep, Esplanade stretches from the Orient Theater up to the legendary Baby Lee Jezel's Recreational Park. Good God, that's a mouthful. Okay, Nelson Mandela Bay. Wow, there's a party in Nelson Mandela Bay. Imagine that. All roads lead to the Hobie Beach in Summerstrand for the Bay's official New Year's celebration. Hosted by the Nelson Mandela Bay Municipality, the Shark Rock Pier and Hobie Beach parking area will be taken over by local artists in a jam-packed program from 4 p.m., which is already now. In Western Cape, the much-awaited Secrets of Summer Festival. And then, all right, so yeah, illegal street parties. Ooh, be careful there. Delft Community Police former spokesperson said illegal street parties usually end in bloodshed. Oh, that's not good. Fireworks are banned in George. George is not allowing fireworks, probably because of fire conditions. Plettenberg Bay Tourism's Patty Butterworth announced that the scenic town will host a range of major events, including the Barrington's New Year Eve Bash and Barrington's in Pisang Valley. All right, be responsible. That's some good advice. Be responsible as you celebrate New Year's. Mozambique has created a mess. They've got a commission now to investigate the prison break in the capital. The government of Mozambique has created a commission of inquiry to investigate the mass escape of prisoners from 2 penitentiary facilities in the country's capital of Maputo. And there is a subscriber. Thank you, Simplix, for subscribing. I presume it's because they're watching one of my videos. Right. All right. So tourists are now shunning Mozambique, as they should be. The British government has issued a travel warning. Follows a similar warning from South Africa. The move is a further blow to Mozambique's tourism sector that is a crucial component of its economy. I think it contributes something like 15% of the GDP. So that is bad news for Mozambique. It was issued December 27 by the British Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office. Follows a similar warning from South African authorities amid the deteriorating Mozambican security situation since the national elections earlier this year. Mozambique is now also battling an armed insurgency in the north, but we've known about that for ages. Nigeria says its Warri refinery is finally back online after a decade of being shut down, back at 60% production. The 125,000 barrel a day refinery's closure in 2015 was blamed on disrepair and crude shortages. It's now running at 60% of its capacity. 4 state-owned refineries with a combined capacity of 445,000 barrels per day are closed, but they plan to get those back in line soon. The privately owned Dangote oil refinery, built by billionaire Aliko Dangote, started operations this year at 650,000. Now, why does this matter? Because Nigeria, which is oil rich, was petroleum poor. Explain. They had no refined petroleum products because all the refineries were shut down, kind of like South Africa. Well, you got the one in Cape Town back open, but the one over in Durban still shut down. That was one of the bigger ones. So when you don't have refineries to process crude, you have to import finished crude products. And that escalates the price of petrol, diesel, kerosene, paraffin, everything you need. So it's just silly. All right. So good to see that Nigeria is coming back in line. Wall Street Journal runs an interesting article talking about the prevalence of conflict across the African continent this year. Something I'll probably be asked to talk about on the Conscious Caracal soon. A surge in conflicts has gone largely unnoticed amid higher profile wars in Ukraine and Middle East. Yes, largely unnoticed because I'm not famous and I don't have millions of people watching my channel, but I am the one journalist that repeatedly covers the conflicts in the Sahel, in Mozambique, and across the continent of Africa, including Sudan. I cover it all the time. Not my fault that I'm not famous and no one's listening, except you all. All right, so an unprecedented explosion of conflicts has carved a trail of death and destruction across the breadth of continent of Africa, from Mali near the continent's western edge all the way to Somalia. Actually, it's not from Mali, it's from Mauritania all the way across. Older wars such as Islamist uprisings in northern Nigeria and Somalia and the militia warfare in eastern Congo have intensified. New power contests between militarized elites in Ethiopia and Sudan are convulsing two of Africa's largest and most populous nations. Yada, yada, yada. It's just going on and on. You can see here of global conflicts, the number of conflicts that are state-based. Africa has risen to nearly 30 state-based conflicts. Wow. It is the largest region for conflict on the planet. Yeah, okay, we're supposed to take the African Union seriously. I don't think so, folks. I don't think so. Well, speaking of military action, the United States has attacked the Houthis on New Year's Eve. U.S. military carried out fresh airstrikes against Houthi targets in Yemen. Central Command said in the latest an escalating campaign against the Iran-backed militants. U.S. Central Command said it struck the capital, Sana'a, and coastal locations within Houthi-controlled territory in Yemen on Monday and Tuesday, including a command and control facility and sites of produced and stored weapons, notably missiles and drones. These facilities were used by Houthi operations, such as attacks against U.S. Navy warships and merchant vessels in the southern Red Sea and Gulf of Aden. It's part of the efforts to denigrate the Houthis' military capacity. South Korea's jet crash raises pretty basic questions. Why was a concrete barrier at the end of the runway? Well, duh. Well, that's a key part of the component of the investigation. U.S. international aviation regulators developed standards years ago for structures near the tarmac to guard planes from hitting equipment at airports. The Jeju air crash has raised concerns about the design of a South Korean airport and whether a concrete reinforced mound beyond the runway played a significant role in one of the deadliest plane crashes in recent years. Well, duh. The damn plane hit the concrete barrier and was absolutely obliterated. Of course it played a role in the deaths of these people. This is a stupid comment. China rolls out a brand new military communications integrated network, which they claim can't be degraded. China rolls out the world's first military-proof 5G network that can connect 10,000 army robots. A mobile communications system that can move through complex terrains has been developed by Chinese scientists. Jointly developed by the Chinese Mobile Communications Group and the People's Liberation Army, it can provide unprecedented high-speed, low-latency, and extremely secure and reliable data exchange services to at least 10,000 users within a 3-kilometer radius. When the People's Liberation Army are advancing at 80 kilometers per hour in complex terrains such as mountains or cities and are subjected to electromagnetic interference, the system can still maintain an uninterrupted total throughput of 10 gigabytes per second and latency of less than 15 milliseconds. This is insane. That's absolutely insane. That's an incredible capability. The only shortcoming of it is it's just 3 kilometers. If they could extend that to 30 kilometers, then they would cover the breadth of a division and it would be able to handle division operations. The Chinese are advancing at such a rapid state, they are a threat to global security. That's why they're developing these capabilities. My goodness. Ooh, that ought to scare the Department of Defense, but I doubt they're even aware of it. China has hacked into the Treasury Department in a major breach. Comes at a particularly sensitive moment as Biden White House is dealing with one of the most far-reaching and damaging hacks in American infrastructure in the cyber age. One of China's intelligence agencies hacked the U.S. Treasury Department, gaining access to the workstations of government employees and unclassified documents. It was unclear from the Treasury's limited first account of the episode exactly what the hackers were seeking, but senior officials with access to the intelligence of the breach said that it appeared to be entirely an espionage operation. Wow. That's just crazy. Sorry, folks. I had something on the printer I had to pull off. Yeah, absolutely crazy. Man. So the Chinese have hacked our Treasury Department. Yay, great. Well, there goes the dollar. Putin says he saved Russia. Vladimir Putin claims to save Russia. Is the proposal to scrap the Department of Education a sly way to ensure generation on generation of homegrown, unskilled labor? No, Arthur. Your comment is disingenuous. The creation of the Department of Education has lowered educational outcomes over the course of 4 decades. Since the creation of the U.S. Department of Education and its interference in local authorities' oversight of education in their communities, educational standards have declined dramatically. The United States has gone from top 1 and top 3 in every category, in science and maths, in everything, all the way down into the 30s globally. We are uncompetitive across the board. We have lots of pockets of excellence, but we're uncompetitive in the medium because of the Department of Education's interference and the lack of parental involvement in education. So your comment, which is meant to be an attack on conservatives, falls flat because you are being disingenuous. Putin says he saved Russia. I don't think that's true. What would be the alternative department then? There should be no department, Arthur. Well, if you meant that as a genuine comment, then I'll apologize for what I just said. But if you meant that as a genuine comment, there should be no Department of Education. There's nothing in the Constitution that grants the federal government the authority to run education. It's not explicitly in here. And as I've said over and over again, the 10th Amendment to the Constitution prohibits the federal government from doing this. Unbelievable. The 10th Amendment, folks. I'll read it again. It's very short. very concise, very clear, unambiguous, the 10th Amendment. The power is not delegated to the United States by the Constitution, nor prohibited by it to the states, or reserved to the states respectively or to the people. So if the Constitution doesn't explicitly give the federal government the authority to regulate something or to do something, they are unconstitutional. Therefore, the Environmental Protection Agency, the Department of Education are illegal operations and in violation of the Constitution. It doesn't matter if Congress passed a law authorizing them. The law is superseded by the Constitution, which is clear. The federal government has no authority whatsoever to regulate education. Before the federal government regulated education, we didn't have this interference. These education programs were run by local school boards and local communities, and parents were involved. The Department of Education came along and usurped that authority and has led to a denigration of the quality of education in this country, and educational outcomes have fallen off a cliff. Simple as that. Yes, Arthur, it does apply to many departments. We can talk about that too, but not now. Save that for another conversation or the end of this broadcast. Putin says he saved Russia, but a year of challenges suggests Moscow's position is precarious. Marking 25 years in office, Vladimir Putin says he's remade Russia as a sovereign power and will prevail in Ukraine. Well, I don't know what prevailing in Ukraine means to Russia. Does it mean occupying the entire country, colonizing it? Does it mean obtaining the eastern third on the other side of the Dnieper River and annexing it to Russia? If he does, then he may be successful at that. But Ukraine will exist as a sovereign country because of the crooks and criminals in the European Union and at NATO who will ensure that it survives. So he will not defeat Ukraine in that sense. Yeah, but he can defeat Ukraine in the sense that I've said if he had a limited objective, operational strategic objective of annexing the eastern third of Ukraine. He certainly will defeat it if his objective is Crimea and the Donbass, which he has. So I don't know what he means by that. Ukraine is getting more money from Joe Biden still. $6 billion in aid to Ukraine before Trump's inauguration. U.S. has unveiled almost $6 billion in military and budget aid for Ukraine as the Biden administration works quickly to spend all the money it is available to help Kiev fight off Russia before Trump takes office. Wow. Unbelievable. This is the same story I reported on yesterday, but more coverage of it today. Most of Puerto Rico, this is breaking news story when it came online, is now in the dark. Yep. Only a fraction of the island's 1.4 million utility customers had power this morning. The electricity provider said it would take 24 to 48 hours to restore power. So Puerto Rico will start the new year in the dark. San Juan, the capital of Puerto Rico, fell dark Tuesday evening. A sweeping blackout hit Puerto Rico. As of 9 a.m. this morning, only 14% of the 1.4 million utility customers had any power. Wow. Preliminary findings point to a fault on an underground line. It said that it planned to restore power in phases, and the entire process would take 24 to 48 hours. Wow. Puerto Rico is in the dark, folks. Breaking news story. Drug cartels have become Mexico's 5th largest employer. That's shocking, is it not? Not really. Sinaloa, that's a bad place. Some 175,000 people are now actively work for Mexico's smuggling cartels, according to a shocking new estimate that would make them the country's 5th largest private employer. The cartel's secret is their viciously efficient ability to recruit. Wow. They recruit 350 people per week, which helps them counter massive losses thanks to arrests, killings, and dropouts. 175,000 people working for drug cartels. That's insane. Well, Trinidad and Tobago has taken a step in the wrong direction, the opposite of what this document protects us. This document protects Americans from the very actions that Trinidad and Tobago are undertaking right now. This is dangerous. This is a country that tries to attract foreign nationals, high net worth individuals, giving them citizenship or residency if they bring their money and spend it there. Well, I would offer caution about Trinidad and Tobago. To curb gang killings and a rise in homicides, the government has declared that the military can make arrests and allows authorities to enter your home without a warrant and deny you bail. The government of Trinidad and Tobago faced an alarming rise in violence, including retaliatory gang killings, on Monday declared a state of emergency. The measure empowers the military to make arrests, and allows authorities to enter suspects' homes without warrants and deny them bail. Wow. This is insane. This is absolutely insane. They struggle with the presence of criminal groups for more than 25 years, but the past decade has seen a surge in the escalation of violence by street gangs. Well, folks, you just have to admit at some point, some cultures are just violent, and you can't do anything about it. Nexus of Thought is back. Hey, wonder how the cartel's dental plan is. Yeah, well, I don't have a dental plan. All right, so findings of misconduct by the Department of Justice. All right. Investigative summary. Here it is on the screen, and I'm going to read it from this. There you go. Investigative Summary 25-019. Findings of misconduct by 3 senior Department of Justice officials for violating the department's confidentiality and media contacts policy, and by one of these senior officials for violating the department's social media policy. Department of Justice Office of the Inspector General initiated an investigation after seeing allegations that actions by a litigating division were politically motivated and violated DOJ policies regarding disclosing information on ongoing matters. And here we have it, the unraveling of the cabal and the political or politicization of our government and our justice system against Donald Trump and against conservatives. This is the unraveling of it. It begins here. With this revelation, this release by Inspector General of the Department of Justice, while Biden regime is still in power, they're actually admitting their criminal conduct. It will get much worse once we begin investigations in the new administration. The Office of Inspector General investigation found that 3 senior DOJ Department of Justice officials violated confidentiality and media contacts policy by leaking to select reporters days before an election non-public DOJ investigative information regarding ongoing investigative matters, resulting in publication of 2 news articles that included the non-public DOJ investigative information. The Office of Inspector General investigation also found that one of these 3 senior DOJ officials violated the confidentiality and media contacts policy by reposting through a DOJ social media web account links to the news services. The 3 senior officials were not employed by DOJ when the Office of Inspector General contacted them for interviews because they had since left. They either declined and did not respond to the interview request. They have the authority to compel testimony from current employees upon informing them that their statements will not be used to incriminate them in a criminal proceeding. They do not have the authority to compel or subpoena testimony from former DOJ employees. Local courts and federal courts do have that authority. The Office of Inspector General has completed its investigation and provided its report to the Office of Deputy Attorney General because the report contained misconduct findings against attorneys. Provided its report to the Professional Misconduct Unit. They also reported to the U.S. Office of Special Counsel, which has exclusive jurisdiction to investigate alleged Hatch Act violations for consideration. These are government bureaucrats, deep state operatives who undermine the Trump campaign by fraudulently releasing classified and confidential information related to investigations in order to tank Trump's campaign. These people are criminals and must be prosecuted for their conduct. It is as simple as that, folks. It is simple as that. Unbelievable that this sort of thing takes place in this country. We are a banana republic when such things are allowed to occur. It's unacceptable. Unacceptable. Well, the Trump team has ordered their prospective nominees not to use social media. Probably a smart move. Trump team orders all intended nominees to stop posting on social media ahead of Senate confirmations. President-elect Donald Trump's chief of staff, Susie Wiles, sent a message Sunday ordering nominees to refrain from posting on social media as Senate confirmation hearings are scheduled to start next week. While the instruction has been delivered previously, I'm reiterating that no members of the incoming administration or transition speaks for the United States or the president himself. Accordingly, all intended nominees should refrain from any public social media posts without prior approval from the incoming White House. Wow. Council. Yeah. So, if I suddenly stop broadcasting or posting on social media, you will know why. You will know why. As of now, that's not an issue for me. Not an issue for me. Well, Joe Biden thinks he could have won against Trump. Joe Biden thinks he could have won. It's comical, folks. It's absolutely comical. Joe Biden actually thinks he could have won the election. This demented lunatic, Joe Biden, there he is. There he is right there. But this fawning coverage by the captured Wall Street Journal, once a venerable, honest, legitimate publication that was slightly right of center, but objective in his news reporting, has become a mouthpiece for leftist issues. Running this fawning story about this demented lunatic, a long story by Eric Schwartzel, Emily Glazer, and Annie Linsky. Because once again, apparently journalists at major media outlets aren't capable of writing articles all on their own. This is ridiculous. It's a collaborative effort. Biden exits battling for his legacy and believing he could have won. And it just goes on and on and on. A fawning story about Joe Biden who thought he could actually win this thing. Wow. Unbelievable, folks. This is unbelievable. Biden did some truly remarkable things while in office, like establishing a women's health research initiative, said Hannah Lincoln-Halker, a Los Angeles-based Democratic donor and advisor for the law firm Johnson, Shapiro, Slewitt, and Cole. But it's unfortunate that his legacy could be overshadowed by political miscalculations that ultimately ushered in a second Trump presidency. He did some truly remarkable things. Like what? Afghanistan? Ukraine? China? Inflation? Racism? Now, what truly remarkable things did he do there, Hannah? You are a lunatic, a leftist operative. Well, the Pentagon is reassessing the Osprey after 40-plus years of development. This dangerous aircraft, which has cost the lives of many Marines, had repeated crashes and operational failures. The tilt rotor aircraft is a disaster. The Marines and the Air Force and Navy have cleared the Osprey to fly after the all-operate Ospreys were grounded earlier the month. Clearing the Ospreys involves implementing risk mitigation controls. However, because of the number of history and crashes and with the most recent killing 8 Marines in November of last year, the Ospreys, the Pentagon is considering getting rid of it. It's been problem-plagued for 43 years since Bell and Boeing began joint development. And they spent over $10 billion expended on research, development, and testing, with the first flight taking place back in 1989. But they're still crashing. Why is it such a poor helicopter? Well, because of the downwash from the powerful rotors kicks up rocks and debris, which damages the aircraft and people near it. That's a problem. So it has limited usability. And as a plane, it sucks too. And they are considering getting rid of it. It's long overdue. Well, the visa kerfluffle, the H-1B with Vivek Ramaswamy and Elon Musk and Donald Trump weighing in, has got the left all excited that the right is disunified. So this is another Stephen Collinson op-ed, which is nonsense. This guy doesn't know his ass from a hole in the ground. What the visa fraud feud says about the incoming administration. Donald Trump siding with Elon Musk over visas for high-tech workers is the most significant example yet of the president-elect's favoring powerful elements in his new MAGA coalition over his base anti-immigrant DNA that he twice tapped in his rise to power. The boiling holiday feud over H-1B visas exposed new fissures across Trump's broad support base and reflected contradictions between his populist ideology and the self-interest of many of the key players in the refashioned inner circle. I don't buy that for a second. That's nonsense. Trump has always said he's in favor of H-1B visas. This is not new. This is a fake controversy by conservatives, by MAGA supporters, and by the leftist media. I don't agree with their comments. Their comments are stupid and insulting to America, but nonsense. Nonsense. Fortune says, meet the rich. Retired boomers are now ultra frugal because they're scared of going broke even after saving for decades. Wealthy boomers are living well below their means instead of splashing out on those golden years because they're daunted by the price tag of living until their 90s. It's not just Gen Z who can't afford the cost of living. Even boomers who have retired with at least 6 figures in savings are feeling the pinch. According to a new study from Prudential, 20,000 people were interviewed over 50 years of age and found that retirees are living well below their means. Married 65-year-olds with at least $100,000 in financial assets withdrew an average of 2.1% of their savings annually. That is nearly half the usual spending rate of retirees. Wow. A study told the Wall Street Journal that since 1926, retirees have been able to spend 4% of their savings every year without risking running out of money in the last 30 years of life. But now people have cut that in half because of inflation. It's eviscerating their savings and their investments, and they're living much more frugally. The prospect of living upwards of 95 years is also part of the issue here. It's becoming increasingly a reality for older people, and you can bet the cost of housing, healthcare, and bills and food is going to go up in the time. Yep. It's why instead of splashing out on their golden years with trips around the world, on a cruise, buying a luxury home, most retirees are living frugally. That's pretty scary. Pretty scary. What's within the International Criminal Court warrant? What are we talking about there? All right, so the Northern Lights, the Aurora Borealis, will be visible tonight. Yes, across the U.S. The northern part of the country could see pink and red streaks in the skies this week, just in time for New Year's Eve. Well, New Year's Eve is here. It's tonight. Funny because the story was published yesterday as if it says the whole week, but it's anyway. Geomagnetic storm could make the northern lights visible across the northern fringe of the United States as early as sunrise or after nightfall on New Year's Eve. So after nightfall tonight, I will go outside and see if I can see the northern lights. The Aurora Borealis are flashes of color that appear in the night sky, seen in the northernmost regions of planets. Yep. A result of coronal mass ejections. It sounds like expelling foreign nationals. Okay, what is going on? We're not a signatory to the Rome Statute. Thank you, Neville. Why are we talking about the Rome Statute? Oh, Putin says, Arthur says, if Putin visits the U.S. must arrest. Nope. We are not a party to the International Criminal Court. We wrote it. We advocated for it. We intended to join it, but then it was misused, and so we didn't join it. So we have no obligation to arrest him. That's correct. Thank you, Neville. Boeing's terrible year, folks. Things have gone very badly for Boeing. This year, a whole host of failures, and the stock is plummeting as a consequence. Boeing's terrible year is ending with the worst aviation tragedy of 2024. So we've got that crash in South Korea. We got the Alaska Air incident where the freaking door just blew off. Remember that? The year began with a door plug blowing off the side of a 737 MAX flown by Alaska Airways after its takeoff from Portland. Passengers' clothing and cell phones were ripped away and sent hurling through the gaping hole in the plane's fuselage as the cabin air rushed out. No one was seriously injured. But look at that. Door blew out of that damn aircraft. The criminal plea, they took a criminal plea, federal charges that they deceived the FAA during certification for the 737. They agreed to pay $487 million in fines, double what originally paid in the 2021 deferred prosecution agreement. And they stranded their astronauts with their cocked up spacecraft. They launched a crewed mission with the Starliner, taking NASA astronauts Butch Wilmore and Suni Williams to the International Space Station. It was a long overdue years of development and test flight, but it sucked. And it's far behind the Space Dragon crew. Yep, short-lived. As soon as after the airline's arrival, NASA disclosed that helium leaks and thruster outages meant it wasn't safe to have Starliner return to Earth. So they've been stuck up there ever since. Well, they've got a crippling strike. 33,000 members of the International Association of Machinists started a strike that halted production of 737 MAX and the company's freighter aircraft. So a strike. Then why are all those workers Asian? Look at that workers. They're all Asian. There's no white people. All those Asians, no white people. There's 1, 2 white people, 3 white people in that entire picture, all Asians. That's in America. That's not a Boeing plant overseas. Beyond the cost of the labor deal, new work stoppages cost them a lot of money, more than $11.5 billion. And their losses continue to increase. Boeing has got major problems. And now the Jeju Air crash running into that barrier. But that's not a Boeing issue, but it will affect Boeing. Chinese Muslims finding a refuge in Queens are fearful that Trump will send them home. Well, they have no business being here. None whatsoever. At a shelter in the Flushing area of New York, we Muslims who fled oppression in China are concerned about the president-elect's vows to tighten asylum policy. They survived re-education camps in China's western Xinjiang region. They were released from detention centers and psychiatric hospitals. They watched their loved ones disappear one by one, and they feared that it would be their term, which would make them legitimate asylum seekers. Absolutely. No denial of that. No denial of that. They managed to get out of China and trek the soil, or reach the soil of the United States by trekking through the brutal jungle of Panama known as the Darien Gap on their way to the U.S. southern border. Well, there's a 350 Rand super chat from African Idiot saying it's the last one of the year. Enjoy the remaining hours and see you in the Army in 2025. Thank you, African Idiot. We'll be back for New Year's Eve at 5 p.m. local, 11 p.m. Wait, is it 4 p.m.? Yeah, it won't be 5 because 7 hours would be midnight. So we're going to be at 4 p.m. So 11 South African time, 4 p.m. here. So, yeah, if they went through the Darien Gap, my mother told me to stay here, said Jan, a single mother who came to the United States in July with her 10-year-old son, Masood, through the Darien Gap. If you come back, she quoted, there'll be no good outcome for you. Why are you here? If you're Chinese and you came here illegally through the Darien Gap, you're not a legitimate asylum seeker and you should not be granted asylum. You could have gotten asylum in a host of countries. Obviously, Panama is a safe destination. Honduras you could have saved. Costa Rica is a very safe destination. Mexico, the southern part, is very safe. All safe destinations. Yet you chose to illegally enter the United States. You do not belong here. You have invalidated your asylum claim. Get the frick out. I have no empathy for you. Well, federal appeals court upholds the sexual abuse verdict against Trump for a bogus conviction for a law that was created specifically to target Trump by recriminalizing actions. This is not even legal. This will be overturned by an appeals court at some point, but not today. So the federal appeals court upheld the jury's verdict finding Donald Trump sexually abused writer Gene Carroll and denied his request for a new trial. He challenged the $5 million civil verdict, alleging the trial judge made numerous errors, including allowing testimony from 2 other women who claimed Trump sexually assaulted them. The appeals court concluded the trial judge didn't abuse his discretion in ruling the evidence, even if it made errors. He said, given the strength of Carroll's case, they were not persuaded Trump's rights were affected. The strength of Carroll's case, witnesses that she claimed knew were witnesses weren't present. No one was present. Trump didn't know her, never met her before. She has no evidence. She didn't go to the police. There's no rape kit. There's no sexual, nothing. Simply her word, fabricated years later, a law to allow her to come forward. The only person ever charged under the statute, Donald Trump. This is nonsense, utter nonsense. This is pure political nonsense. Well, a CBS journalist admits that the Biden mental decline was the most underreported story in 2024. Well, not by this channel. We talked about it daily. CBS News reporter Jan Crawford identified the most underreported story of 2024 as Biden's cognitive decline. Uncovered and underreported, that would be, to me, Joe Biden's obvious cognitive decline that became undeniable in the televised debate. Yeah, that was the biggest story. Well, Kamala Harris is back, she thinks. She reportedly still has designs in the Oval Office. What she's been saying to people over the last couple of weeks, donors and supporters, is that she's been talking to is that you haven't seen the last of me. I'm not going quietly into the night. Advisors and people close to her are debating about what that means. They do not want her final official act ever to be essentially certifying Donald Trump's win over her, especially 4 years after January 6th. Kamala Harris. Officials have approved a mega solar photovoltaic farm in Iowa. Yeah, they're claiming it could transform U.S. energy production. Unlikely. The great state of Wisconsin is about to get enough clean energy to power 200,000 homes as the Public Service Commission of Wisconsin has approved a new solar farm that will be the most powerful in the state. Vista Sands Solar Farm, which will be located on 8,500 acres of prime private farmland in Portage County, is being leased from its owners. Developed by Doral Renewables, a Philadelphia-based company. The project is expected to take 2 years to complete. It'll cost $1 billion, 19 billion rand, and generate 500 temporary jobs and 50 permanent jobs. Well, there you go. So, unlike traditional dirty energy sources like oil and gas, solar panels can harvest clean, renewable energy from the sun without producing planet overheating pollution. Considering the fact the planet keeps getting hotter, that is just propaganda. Of course, we know that solar photovoltaic cells produce more carbon dioxide output through the extraction of minerals, the shipping of the minerals, the construction of the solar panels, the shipping of the solar panels, the distribution of solar panels, the installation of solar panels, and then they generate power. They produce far more carbon dioxide output than oil or gas, taking at least 11 years for oil and more years for gas before they reach the same level. So these are simply lying bastards. And $1 billion for 200,000 homes, well, let's multiply that by 330 million people and see how much that's going to cost. It's unaffordable. A Republican Florida Representative Hillary Castle, who's Jewish, has said that she became Republican now because she can't be Democrat because they are anti-Semitic. Yep, during an appearance on the Ingram Angle, she discussed the moment she realized she didn't want to be part of the Democratic Party. Castle, who's Jewish, pointed to the experience of anti-Semitism within her former party as a factor. So does that increase the number of Republicans in Congress now? I guess it does. When did she announce this? Last week. So she shifted from Democrats, so the Republicans gain an additional seat. Is she a Trojan horse? Well, Don Lemonhead is still at it, and he's talking about the arguments over Elon Musk, Vivek Ramaswamy, Donald Trump, and the MAGA crowd about the H-1B1 visit. So if you have children, cover their ears, send them out of the room, or put this on mute for the next minute or so. A minute 23 of an epic rant from this moron, Don Lemonhead, who is of no substance or importance whatsoever, but he seems to think he is. So here you go, folks. Don Lemonhead. This is shocking to hear. This is worse than I'm ANC, bitch. Here we go. This is Don Lemonhead.
Finding out, you dumb fucking idiots. Now you're just figuring this shit out. You're so fucking stupid and you deserve it. You fucking deserve it because you're so dumb. Jim, it's hypocrisy. So go with me here. Yes, I am gloating over your stupidity and how you were taken. I'm cackling in Kamala, says in Shanta. You have been co-opted because you're in a fucking cult and you don't even realize it because you have stupid MAGA brain.
So this is the dumbest homosexual on the planet. Arguably one of the dumbest homo sapiens on the planet.
And you don't get it. How stupid and dumb are you? And I'm just going to I can't wait to go through this. Okay. So I'm going to read this again. So Chris John's appointment triggered an anti-Indian backlash on social media, particularly given his past advocacy for increasing green cards and immigration broadly. Oh no, immigration. We can't do the immigration because it's hot in here, guys. Sorry. Woo! Thank you. We can't do the immigration because, the immigration, it triggers some people. You know what they're saying.
Speaking of being triggered, I think Don Lemonhead is triggered.
About the anti-immigrant stuff, right? Who's it to say that one of the jobs you might be seeking won't be one of those white jobs?
White jobs? Wow, it sounds pretty racist to me.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
It looks like he's going bald there. Notice that? Looks like Don Lemonhead is going bald right down the middle. What a, whoops. We don't want that. Turn the wrong one off there. Turn the wrong camera off there. So let me get the other one. Yeah, Don Lemonhead, folks. Yeah, what a sour puss that guy is. Yeah. Anyway, that concludes the news for today. And what are we down to? 76 people still here. Thanks. 72 likes. Come on, guys. Hit the like button.
That was easy.
You can do better. Hit the like button. Still pissing in Centurion. Oh, lots of rain. That's 50 millimeters. That's a lot, Smee. Wow. Be careful for the floods then. You see the Army base we're discussing, we maintain the town. What's going on there? 7th South African Infantry used to march through the main street of Palabora holding alive Caracal 38 degrees heat. Wow. You're welcome, Dylan. Arthur's 76 years old. What is 76 years old? You? Doge is a group of billionaires extorting lawmakers to do their bidding or face the consequences. No, Doge is a group of billionaires extorting Congress to do their damn jobs on behalf of us. Yep, they have our support. Does he explain what white job actually is? No, he doesn't, Fleshin. We didn't get the whole thing. So somebody betrayed him. That looks like it was a Zoom session, and they centered in on him. Don the Lemon Brain, yep. Need more makeup. Bring back the 1950s. No, I'll take the 80s. Nuclear's the only way to go. Yes, Paul, I agree. Kamala running 2025 to 2028 will secure her the Oval Office. Unlikely, Arthur. She's a dingbat, dumbass, moron who couldn't string two sentences together, and anyone who voted for her is a fool. There you go. You're just a fool. If you didn't like Donald Trump, then you just shouldn't have voted. You guys love the jury verdicts. I'm not sure what that comment means. We have jury trials. I like that over a judge-based trial. Yep. Pablo says you were illegal in Uganda. Nope, that's a lie. That's a fairy tale. I had diplomatic status in Uganda. I entered the country legally, and I resided there legally and had a residence permit in every country I lived in Africa. So you're a fraud, Pablo Charlie. You're an absolute fraud. You're telling lies that you have no information about. So stop being an ass and contribute to the conversation, or footsec. How does that work, man? Oh, because he had a super chat. Okay, I'm saying something. Join a union, and I learned the hard way. These companies will financially outlast you in court, pay the union fees. Now, unions are evil, corrupt, criminal organizations, often racketeering organizations. No. I've never seen a union do anything positive for anybody. I was compelled to be a member of the Teamsters, and they stole 20% of my income every week. And for that, all I got from them was harassment at work. Constantly harassed by the shop steward. Make sure you're not on the clock. You better clock out now, denying me income. So I didn't go over a certain number of hours, because then it would upset their balance of the number of part-time and full-time employees. And so it limited my income, and then they stole 20% of it every week. They were just disgusting, vile. Teamsters, I oppose it. No, never join a union. Never, never. Union busting, destroy unions. They're evil. They're corrupt racketeering organizations, in my view. No use for them whatsoever. And unions should never be allowed to unionize government workers or military or police. Absolutely nonsense. In South Africa, the military are unionized. It's asinine. And thank you, African Idiot, for that super chat. Here's another ring out to you. That's an awesome one. Thank you so much for that. Wasn't expecting that on the final day of the year. It's the last chance to avoid the salty cracks for New Year's. So ANC bitch should have been leaning against the door at the last complaint. Arthur says, Putin, you heard it here. Our USA tour is still on with zero consequences. What USA tour? What are you talking about? Rumors on the corner of Andreessen Street below church. Yeah. Well, no rumor. No. Why would Vladimir Putin not be allowed to come here? Castro, Trudeau, wannabe dictator. Facebook, Twitter, and AI users to boost engagement. Huh? Oh, you're saying Facebook and Twitter will use AI users to boost engagement? Maybe. I don't know. Possibly. International. Oh, we're back to that. NWA, welcome to you. Dark money group behind Daily Wire funding salaries higher than income. Interesting. Yeah, that's a lot of leftist stuff, and a few on the right that are like that. Would have been back to the basement campaigning. Brother killed 2 rubbishes. Remember the Zillertal? Dance too late. Okay. Are you guys talking about New Year's? Like Elon is going to listen to his servant Trump. Well, you really don't understand what's going on here, man. I love how people on the political left just believe whatever they're told. Oh, Elon Musk is running the country. No, he's not. Oh, so he's paying $2,000 a night to stay in a condo at Mar-a-Lago. He's paying. What's the problem? Native American women going missing isn't new. Killers of flowers have been covered some occurrence. It was a way to steal land. Yeah, but women going missing today has nothing to do with flowers of Killers of the Flower Moon. That's about stealing oil rights because of the corrupt way that the Native American tribes distributed the rights to oil in Oklahoma. And so they murdered each other for it. That's how they did it. And they got away with it for years. It took a nascent FBI investigation into this. Killers of the Flower Moon was a fantastic book. I read it when it came out before it was bestseller, and people ignored it. And suddenly it got traction, and I think it became a movie at some point. Native American going missing now has much more to do with violence by Native Americans and the murder of young girls, rape and murder of young girls on reservations, and also some who disappear from them. But that's not a new topic. Why did that come up? Why did that come up? You just throw that in there for the heck of it? But it's not, see, calling it Native American, it's not. It's girls, boys, missing children in the hundreds of thousands and women in the hundreds of thousands. That's the story. And it's not confined to Native Americans. In fact, numerically, they're almost non-existent as they're a statistical anomaly. Most of the people who are abducted or go missing in this country are white women and girls. Most. Shikaro, I never watched it. Arthur says cartel medical care is not so bad. I wouldn't know. All right, so there we go. All right, cool. Got the super chat, got everything in there. All right. I got screwed and I need a union join later on, and now my employers fear me as they should. No, an employer shouldn't fear you. I wouldn't hire you. Why should I be afraid of you? Well, I expect you to perform a task I pay you for. And as a consequence, I'll compensate you reasonably for it. And if you do extremely well, then I may promote you and pay you more, maybe give you more benefits. But fear you? No. I would never hire somebody I fear. Nope. And I would never allow unions to unionize my workers. I'd just disband my company. Screw them. Then they wouldn't have jobs. There you go. Fear an employee? No. Don't fear an employees. We'll colonize the United States once again, says Pablo. It's already being colonized. The United States is being recolonized by criminal alien invaders right now who are repopulating this country. Look, I'll tell you right now. Let me show you something. Now, you're going to say this is xenophobic. It's not. You're going to say that it's anti-immigrant. It's not. It's a statement of fact. And I don't know who did this and who put this there, but I'm going to tell you the norms have changed dramatically in just the past couple of years. So this is the sidewalk by the bookstore where I was at yesterday. The only bookstore around here, the only significant bookstore around here, Barnes & Noble. I have never seen rubbish on the street at all. Yesterday I was there. And clearly 40% of the people that I ran into on the street, in the parking lot, around that store, in that shopping center, and in that bookstore are not traditional Americans. They're not Native American. They're not Anglo-Saxons. They're not black. They're immigrants. Many of them criminal, alien, illegal immigrants who've been dumped on us by the Biden regime. And suddenly this is what our streets look like. This is suddenly what our streets look like. They never look like that. In 9 years I've gone to the bookstore, I never saw trash like this. And no, it wasn't an overturned rubbish bin. This is pigs throwing their trash. Now, they could be people who lived here all along, but it seems highly unlikely that the people who lived here their entire lives would suddenly start throwing trash all over the street. And by the way, that's all over the parking lot, not just along the sidewalk, all over the parking lot. I kept walking over refuse everywhere I went. Unbelievable. And here's the sidewalk again. You can see it there. Rubbish laying everywhere. No rubbish bin there, just pigs, absolute pigs, throwing the rubbish on the ground. In addition to that, I had a difficult time getting out of the parking lot as I saw Afghans, here illegally, no doubt, in front of me driving a unroadworthy vehicle, not knowing how to drive, and then others coming around the other way, immigrants from somewhere else who aren't from here, driving recklessly in a parking lot, nearly hitting me when I was backing out, whipping around a parking lot, going 80 meters in about 3 seconds and nearly hitting me in the rear. Reckless, no idea how to drive, no idea how to follow the laws, no expectation of assimilating or contributing to our kaleidoscope of peoples. I've had enough of it. Yeah, it looks like a decent sidewalk in South Africa. Yep. Colleague, this complete mampara, but due to the union, he can't be fired. They won't promote him, but he doesn't care. Exactly. So you see the problem with unions? You can't fire someone who's useless, and they have to carry them. Turned 50 Air Defense Group, Hammond's car. Logo was a scorpion with a lightning bolt for a sting. Ooh, that's pretty cool, Alan. I like that. That's pretty cool. Are you saying you're about to be replaced? What, Paul, are you asking me if I believe in the great replacement theory? Is that what you're asking? I'm not going to be replaced. I'm irreplaceable. But my country is being invaded. and the ethnic makeup and the cultural and the linguistic makeup and the religious makeup of this country is being undermined and destroyed. Yep. Maybe the driver was South African taxi driver. We broke the Hans Harry canned lion to carte blanche, filmed with a micro. I have no idea what that is. Forgive us, South Africa is... What's that? What the hell's going on here? Frickin' YouTube, the content, once again, I mean, my streaming service locked up over there. Let me, my studio locked up. I got to go back over again. So let me just go over here real quick. My comments video, I don't think is going to get many ads or many views. I'm just saying. Okay, so. Okay, there we go. All right, great. The great replacement theory, that's a conspiracy. You know, like COVID-19 was a man-made disease. That's funny. That's funny. That's funny. Anyway, yeah, so that's the news for today. Interesting day. So, and invaded by drones and orbs. Yeah, hey, Stephanie Hutzemichael. I would love that surname. And the whole name, it's just got a cool name. Stephanie, yeah, no, and orbs and drones and, you know, all kinds of things. Arthur says, I'd replace the Colonel with Ronaldo. He's younger, shorter, not as smart, but those eyes. All right, Arthur, you get a free pass for that one. That's a good line. I like that one. That's funny. That kind of makes my afternoon. But ladies and gentlemen, this should disturb people. This is the Office Inspector General press release about their internal investigation into Department of Justice employees who are now they resigned or got fired. They probably resigned. So they could be prosecuted, but they can be prosecuted. This is criminal conduct, misusing the Department of Justice to go after political opponents. That's what's happened in the Biden regime. And we already have a Department of Justice investigating report in the Obama administration, or the Biden administration, admitting that they committed this criminal conduct. Wow. What more will come out once Trump becomes the president again? It's going to be shocking. You wait and see. Stephanie says, thank you, Chris. I love being cool. You're welcome. Who should have unionized? Department of Justice? Oh, my goodness. You guys are killing me with some of these comments over here. So, you know, sometimes you just have to, you know, sometimes you feel like a nut. Sometimes you don't. Almond Joy's got nuts. Mounds don't. Almond Joy's got real milk chocolate. Tasting crunchy nuts. Oh, because sometimes you feel like a nut and sometimes you don't.
A fucking goat outside.
It's just a goat.
No, it's a fucking goat.
Hey, it's a fucking goat. Oh, no, baby, it's not. It's just a goat. No, it's a fucking goat. Oh, my gosh. The whole Biden Mafia is shocking, Tom. You are correct. It is beyond shocking. The Biden Mafia, what's been going on in this country for 4 years. The depth of the corruption, of the theft, of the misappropriation, the misuse of justice, the abuse of the Department of Defense. When it becomes known to the public, it's going to be shocking. And it's not a conspiracy theory. It's not fake news. It's true. We know what they've been doing. And you wait. Hopefully, Kunk on Life is out soon. I didn't find that show even remotely funny. I tried to watch it. She's dumb as a box of rocks. It wasn't funny. Stephanie says, love children. Well, kids can be great, yeah. Anyway, the vomit comet. Well, that's a roller coaster, man. Yep. Or it's also the thing that the NASA uses to check, you know, for how many G's you can take. Start a union for YouTube trolls. 1,000 rand a minute. Wow. Boy, that's a pretty bold plan you got there, Matthew. Biden cabal needs to be charged with racketeering. Yes, indeed. Yep. The joke. She played the idiot. Yeah, I know. But I mean, I didn't find it funny. I tried. Look, there's a lot, just people like things that I don't like. Okay. I don't eat onions. People love onions. South Africans love their braais. I mean, I don't mind going to a braai, but it doesn't get me excited. Sacrilege. I don't like football, soccer. It's boring as all get out. It's a corrupt game. It's fun to play briefly, but not that exciting. But people like it. That's fine. I don't. There's a lot of programs I don't care for, but other people love them. So My brother fought in the Southwest War. He was shot 3 times through his tummy by friendly fire. Oh my God, Savage Daughter. Yeah, man can't destroy the U.S. Army, so they corrupt and destroy the USA from within. People like Biden. Yeah, Paul, I think that's probably a fair statement, and we see it with what's going on. But Trump has already made it clear on day one, transgender is gone. There's no more transgenderism in the U.S. Department of Defense. So let's see if he follows through on that. That's a promise he made last week. We'll see if he issues an executive order banning that, which will lead to problems. They're going to have to come up with some kind of either grandfather clause, or they're just going to have to detransition people, because we have this biological male dressed up as a female wearing skirts, running around with a male voice and a male Adam's apple with ear piercings and a skirt and wearing a bra, giving public lectures and speeches on behalf of the Air Force. That won't go forward when Trump changes things. So that lieutenant colonel is going to be discharged. They're going to have to come up with some, or there's going to be the military who simply refuse to obey a lawful order from the president. We're going to see people prosecuted under the Uniform Code of Military Justice for failure to comply with the president's executive order. You watch, it's coming. Also, don't bri, I'm single. Okay, Stephanie's single. Ooh, okay, folks, got a cool name. And she's single. All right, so, yep. I've been watching, lately, I've been binge watching the seasons of Major Crimes, which was the spinoff of The Closer with Kyra Sedgwick. So, I think I actually like it better now than I liked the original, The Closer. I like this better. So I'd seen them all before, I think, but it's been so long, and so I started watching because I have all the DVDs and binge watch them. But there's a few things I want to catch up on. I haven't watched the Christmas special for Death in Paradise, where they change the detective, and now not so original idea of sending a black detective to the Caribbean. The uniqueness of it was there were white guys in the Caribbean interacting with folks in the Caribbean. Now it's going to be a black guy interacting with black folks. And so we're going to hear how historic and epic this is and how the equality has come about. Well, you kind of missed the whole premise of the thing. A lot of the jokes, a lot of the intrigue is because the guys were white and English and they're a fish out of water. Let's see if the black guy is a fish out of water. So I haven't watched yet. I'm looking forward to watching that. I love that show. Tom Smith will take the lamb. I will pass. I don't eat mutton. That's for the Welsh, Australians, and Kiwis. Stop attacking Pablo. Well, Pablo should stop attacking others. Brian Lawrenson says, welcome to you. I think Trump will kick South Africa out of AGOA. I don't know, the scientists, but South Africa is not eligible for AGOA. It has violated the terms of AGOA, which it signed up to repeatedly, and therefore it has no legitimate basis being AGOA. In 2018, after Ramaphosa became president, South Africa's parliament began debating an expropriation without compensation law abrogating property rights. Property rights are sacrosanct as a part of the agreement of AGOA. South Africa's government has abrogated those, therefore it made itself ineligible for that in 2018. Also, its actions against the interests of the United States national security, that's a little more nebulous and a lot of wiggle room, but the other one, there's no wiggle room. They've simply violated our law. Which they're voluntary signatory to, and it's a voluntary program. So they don't deserve any special treatment, the government of South Africa, and no duty-free access, which could be devastating for South African businesses like the wine industry, macadamia nut industry, and others. Yep. So not good. If Russia can take land, we can take land. The thing is that warfare is a legitimate means of political discourse. It's an unfortunate means, but it's a legitimate means. So there you go. Anyway. So there you have it, folks. By the way, I'm updating on my solar, the last day of the year. Disappointing December. It's not been particularly good. This month I've generated 340 kilowatt hours. It's better than December last year when it was just 293. So we're currently sitting at 47 kilowatts better, which is great. That's almost 3 full days of electricity. By the time today's over, the sun just came out again. It's at 4 kilowatt hours. It's generating 4.3 right now per hour. So if the sun stays out, I get another 4 hours of sunshine. That'll get me another 15, 16 kilowatt hours, take me up over 20, and that would tip me over 350 for the month, which would mean I basically have produced enough electricity in December for about 5 days of free electricity, but not all of it. Now, my electricity is that's what I've generated. So some of that consumed, none of it will be banked though, unfortunately. Then we'll go to war to take the land. It's legitimate. It is. It's a legitimate form of political discourse. It's an unpleasant form of discourse, and it's supposed to be the last resort. I think BRICS is a negative for America. No, BRICS is nothing, Stephanie. BRICS is nothing. It's a fantasy. Although it may be gaining traction with the addition of Saudi Arabia and Venezuela and Iran. mostly pariah states. But the thing is that it has no economic clout. But bringing in the oil-producing country of Saudi Arabia is a major coup for BRICS. Venezuela is not a coup for them. It's a disaster. Who else? Anyway, so the thing with BRICS is it's non-existent. There's no treaty. See, I'm tired of people, not you all, but the media and political analysts who know nothing about what they're talking about, treating as if it's real. It's an acronym created by an American economist working at Merrill Lynch or somewhere like that back around the year 2000 to talk about economies that would be emerging in this century. And he said Brazil, Russia, India, and China will rise. The only country that's risen economically of any significance to any degree whatsoever in that time frame has been China. Illegitimately, illegally, after the United States sponsored their entry into the World Trade Organization under the corrupt Clinton regime. They have violated World Trade Organization rules repeatedly. They have violated international norms. They have ignored International Court of Justice decisions against them. They have done untold ecological damage to their own country and to the South China Sea with their artificial island creation. This is a rogue country that is the only country in BRICS of any significance. Until these new countries joined recently, BRICS was 85% of its GDP coming from China. It's nothing. There's no treaty. There's no agreement. They have no mutual defense. They have no mutual economic access. You cannot exchange currencies. There's no facilitation of that. There is no trade agreement. There's nothing that says if you are South African, you can go and work in China at any time. You get a visa to automatically go. It's not like the European Union. If you're French, you want to go work in Germany, you don't have to have a visa. You just go there. Just like moving around the United States. I don't need a visa to go live in Wyoming and work there. I can do it. And it's the same in the European Union. Even though they're different countries, you can travel across. That's the whole part of Maastricht. That's what it's all about. Or Schengen, excuse me, not Maastricht. Maastricht was the European currency. Schengen, that's the whole purpose of Schengen. But Schengen betrayed Europeans by allowing tens of millions of criminal alien invaders to flood into the region, and then they're in the region, you can't do anything about them. Criminal aliens. So Schengen betrayed Europeans at the behest of the leftists that came up with it. So, and Maastricht also betrayed Europeans, the whole other story. But there is no Schengen-like agreement for Russia, Brazil, India, China, Saudi Arabia. No, you can't go there. If you're South African, you want to go live in Saudi Arabia, you can't just do that. Why would you want to? I've lived in Saudi Arabia. You don't want to live there. It's a shithole. Will that offend the Saudis? Too bad, buddy. Your country's a crap hole. So there's nothing to it. It's vaporware. It's just a bunch of malcontents who get together and run their mouths about the West. They're all profiting off the West. South Africa's economy would die without the West. It'd just be dead. It'd be moribund. You'd all be eating trees. Eating leaves. They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. That'd be the story in Joburg. In Alexandria today, they're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. Saudi Arabia is a major non-NATO ally. Still a crap hole country. What's your point? I warned you, Pablo Charlie. I warned you. Stop with your lies. I don't know what your deal is. You have been given a timeout. 5-minute timeout. So anyway. Stephanie says, I hear you, Chris. Thanks. You're welcome, Stephanie. No, BRICS is nothing. Now, that said, it has the potential to become something. China's created the Asian Infrastructure Development Bank, and it's funded almost entirely by China until recently. Now, Great Britain and many other countries have joined that. Very clever effort on the part of the Chinese. They will decide who gets funding because they're the major. They own 1/3 of the shares. They're trying to replicate what the international, with the World Bank and with the IMF look like. They're trying to create parallel institutions, and to their lunacy, governments like the United Kingdom, France, and Germany have joined this institution as well as Australia. These are idiots. They're cutting their nose off to spite their face. The Chinese have no interest in advancing the interest of those countries. This is all about advancing China's interest. So they will use the Asian Infrastructure Development Bank to fund their road and belt initiative, their Belt and Road Initiative. That's what they're doing. So that all the goods flow, all the material flows to China and all the goods flow back the other way and you pay for the infrastructure. It's a brilliant plan by the Chinese. They're absolutely brilliant, fantastic cheats. They're really good. Yep. Martin K is here. Welcome, Martin. Okay. All right. Meerkat doesn't like South Africa being infiltrated by the Chinese. Well, we're all been infiltrated by the Chinese. We just convicted a Chinese national of illegally establishing a Chinese police station in Manhattan. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. China is the world's greatest threat. Not Donald Trump. It's the Chinese. Alrighty, folks. I think that's enough for today. What do you think? We done? We done? Or should we go a little bit longer? Should we go a little bit longer? We've been on for an hour and 47 minutes. And we've had a little bit of fun with this broadcast. India's doing well, economic growth. Yes and no, Matthew. India's got all kinds of problems, and it hasn't grown like China has. And its economy is not tied in any way to China at all. So, yeah, no, you've got to take a hard look at BRICS. Until they have a treaty and they adhere to treaties, it's not anything like the European Union, and it's not like the United States. Go longer, says Christo. Go longer. All right. Sorry, Chris. Hear that my sister married a soldier. They're still married, retired in Portugal. Interesting, they're in Portugal. What the hell? Keep going, says Alan. What time is your U.S. broadcast? What do you mean, Meerkat? What time is my U.S.? Oh, you mean for the New Year's? It'll be 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, which will be 6 a.m. South Africa time. Yep, 11 o'clock. So we're 7 hours behind you right now thanks to daylight savings time. Although Donald Trump wants to end that, I don't favor it. I like daylight savings. I think it's brilliant. It's brilliant. Yeah, solid boys. We're here. Okay, send them my greetings. India's way overpopulated. Yeah, so I think Meerkat's asking about when my New Year's broadcast. That's when that's going to be. So, yep. Anyway, but I can't go on forever, guys, because we're going to do another broadcast here in a couple of hours, in 3 hours. Yep. That's for the New Year's in South Africa and Africa. So, anyway, I think it's shocking that we're discovering that the Department of Justice, well, we knew this, but that they actually investigated and found people, but they only went after people who'd already left the department. So they say they can't take any action. Well, I disagree. I disagree entirely. So Trump should intervene in Mozambique and get rid of Frelimo. No, Trump should do nothing with that. That's up to SADC. And if SADC can't fix it, the Mozambicans should fix their own mess. No, we have no interest there whatsoever. We should not be there. Nope. Yep, should not be there. Play some cool tunes. Well, that'll just get me copyright strikes. Should do a 12-hour long stream. I could do a 12-hour live stream, absolutely, but not tonight. Not tonight. I'll be doing 3 streams today. What about the Mitchell's Plains? I've got to work on the video after this. So, and it won't get many views because it'll be late in South Africa. So, what is this? Arne Ziegelmeyer became a dental technician. No idea who that is. All right. Oh, he's from Pretoria. Okay. All right, let's wrap it up here, folks. Be sure to hit the like button. Excuse me. And I'm going to go ahead and prepare. I got to put one more thing in that video before I release it. And I'll see you guys on the flip side, okay? Thanks for being here. Really appreciate it. God bless. And hopefully I'll see you for the New Year's Eve, South Africa, New Year's Eve, USA, coming up 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which would make it 11 o'clock. Is that right? 7 hours. Yep. And then at 11 o'clock tonight. So there you go. Cheers. Happy New Year, everybody. Thanks for being here, and I hope you have a better 2025 than you had with 2024, regardless of how good your 2024 was. Always hoping for the best for folks. God bless. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you all shortly. Our national nightmare, our long national nightmare is coming to an end, as Joe Biden will soon be out of office and hopefully be a distant memory. Y'all take care of yourselves, and hopefully I'll see you on the later broadcast tonight. Cheers. God bless.